Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Enfys Tarot. Today is Monday, December 16th, 2024, and it is Earth Magic Monday. And I'll tell you what, I think it's a good day for some Earth Magic Tarot because we've got a full moon, we've got unexplained drone activity, we've got Mercury exiting retrograde. We need some Earth Magic to give us some answers today. So let's find out what is going on. How was everyone's weekend? Is everyone pumped and ready for another beautiful Yuletide week? I hope so. We are in the season of Yule, so make it about connection and positive relationships and generosity and, connecting with your loved ones and with the earth. What is going on today? First out, we've got spring equinox rebirth. Interesting for something during Yule season. Then we've got dragonfly emergence, shaman ancient healing wisdom, and then breach, vulnerability, and generations. All right. What is going on here? It looks like we're breaking cycles. Some of you may be breaking out of generational traumas and generational curses here, and you may be feeling really vulnerable. I think it is a time where everyone is shifting. I'm learning that there was some energy shifting. We've got like solar surges and timeline jumping and all sorts of things that I don't understand, but I've been hearing a lot about them going on, and certainly there's been some super weird energy. So this is about karmic rebalancing and being born into this new era, this new shift, okay? Trying to very quickly eliminate some things from the past that are just getting sort of dropped, It's going to make you feel very unbalanced, and you're emerging in here in this new equilibrium, and you're really definitely going to be needing to tap into the ancient wisdom here. This is what's calling to us right now because we're being birthed into this new cycle of things. And we need to tap in. We need to tap into our inner wisdom to call on spirit, to call on source energy, to get those downloads of guidance that, maybe in the past we were unable to do, or maybe we ignored the opportunity to do it. It's time right now, because you're going to be feeling this crazy vulnerability. It's a breach. It's an end of a contract. It's the end of an era. It's where things have flip-flopped, and now we're all trying to get rebalanced, right? And this is about generations and ancient healing wisdom. It's our job right now to make sure that with this new equilibrium, with this new opportunity, we are creating something better than our generations before us. That's evolution. It's not because we're better than the generations before us. It's because we are being offered something that they weren't offered before. We are a new cycle of people. We're a new generation of people, and we have new tools at our disposal. So let's use them. And there's definitely a grand awakening of a lot of people tapping into the connection with source, to the hive mind, understanding more about our planet and how we can best facilitate growth and life and positivity. And we want to be definitely focusing on that this week with the full moon last night and all of the shifting. What is created right now, like we mentioned last week I think it was last week in some of our tarot spreads, it's clear that what we do, the seeds we sow right now are going to have exponentially larger growth impacts than we have had in the past. So like I mentioned before in a previous reading, if you did something small back in the past before this shift, you could anticipate some sort of consequence, good or bad, the results of the cause and effect of something. You could anticipate what to expect, right? We can't do that now because things are shifting. And if we do something small, it's going to result in something much, much bigger. So make sure the little things you're doing are in the way you want to see the world. Karmic balance, okay? Do the little things now to have a big, big impact, and choose those things wisely. Tap into the ancient healing wisdom to know what to do. Bridge the gap, all right, for our ancestors. Let's help them merge and let them help us merge into this new era. Anytime I pull these earth magic cards, you know, it can get a little woo-woo, but that's okay. I mean, sometimes that's what the conversation is about. Let's go ahead and pull some Rider-Waite-Smith cards and see if we can get a little bit of, you know, more clear, linear, tangible explanation for how to move forward. So thank you, cards, for that reading. I'm going to move you to the side. We're going to pull some Rider-Waite-Smith and find out what can we really focus on this week? What can we really do? What kind of action is being asked of us this week in this shifting time, in this fresh off the full moon boat? Let's see what's needed. Temperance, boom, we are rebalancing. I mean, this is karmic balance, temperance, letting go of past heartaches. You know what? Rip off the Band-Aid. There are some things in your life that you know you're still clinging on to, and you're going to need to rip off the Band-Aid and free up that space, okay? That's all part of the karmic balance, getting rid of the things that we don't need anymore. Do some grounding meditation. Get those roots down into the earth. Earth Magic Monday, I fully recommend doing some grounding where you're picturing source energy coming in through the top of your head and letting it fill up every nook and cranny, and then drive your roots from the soles of your feet down into the earth as far as they can go, and meditate there, allowing yourself to fill up with clean source energy, and then allowing every bit of unused energy to go down into the earth to replenish the earth. You know, we walk around all the time with all of this leftover energy because like we feel like we got to hold on to it, or we feel like it's our job to just kind of carry that along with us, because who else is going to do that? We don't need to do that. It's kind of not necessary at all. We just let it go into the earth because the earth is actually going to use it. So let that stuff go. All right. Yeah. Especially when it comes to past defeats. Mercury is no longer in retrograde. So it is opening doors this week for some really clear communication. So think of some of those lingering conversations or relationships that maybe you've been in for a long time and things are kind of weird, like they've been a little bit off and you're not really sure where things are going. You don't know how to feel with this person because there's been some defeat. There's been some kind of falling out and there was never a full reconciliation. I'm thinking that it's time for you to reach out to those people and clear the air, all right? If you can clear the air right now, you're either going to end up strengthening your relationship, or both of you are going to have the closure that you need. Rip off that Band-Aid and go for it. Clean it up. It's time for some cleanup, all right? Get that balance back. Then we've got the Six of Wands in reverse, the Page of Cups upright. Yeah, I think in some situations, maybe it is time to walk away from some old cohorts. You know, maybe even not that. Like, I think for some of you, you might be walking away from past social groups and then going out to meet your new tribe. And I think for others, you are going to be a different person within these existing friendships and relationships and social circles, and it's going to shift the energy. People might not know exactly what's going on, but they're going to feel it, and they're going to be like, okay, what is happening? Be clear, communicate clearly, and handle this all with joy and curiosity. Wonder, what happens if I go ahead and stay true to my new self? Right? Like, if you're changing, if you're a person who's experiencing changes in who you are, it's not necessary any longer to keep entering into your past cohorts with the same old you. Maybe those people are all changing too. And maybe if you're intended to grow and move forward with them, what is needed is for you to be honest and true and authentic, and feel free to change the old ways, the old patterns and habits, and evolve. This is how evolution happens. And quite frankly, if you're in a cohort or some kind of group and you've changed and you're sort of going in a different direction, if they're not going in the same direction that you are, staying in that cohort is not doing anybody any favors, and yourself included. All right? Be willing to meet some new people. The Page of Cups is all about meeting new people, learning about new people, being friendly, making new friendships, experiencing joy and curiosity and creativity, and just sort of the fun of life. You know, be creative with this. It's time to think a little bit differently. Ace of Wands coming in reverse, Justice coming in reverse, Death coming upright. You know what areas of your life are no longer working. You know what is no longer serving the highest good. And the areas of your life that aren't working, if you try to continue those, you're not balancing. Look, we're starting out here with Temperance, and we're ending this spread with these three cards. Ace of Wands in reverse. If it's a no-go, don't do it. Don't keep going with it, because that's not going to bring karmic balance. That's going to create injustice. So you need to let the closure happen, okay? Sometimes closure is needed. Sometimes relationships have their own lifespan within longer lifespans. Sometimes people are meant to be in our life for a certain period of time, and we're meant to be in their lives for a certain period of time, and then it's over. It's time to go your separate ways, because you're no longer growing together. You're holding each other back, and that evolution stops right there where it is. So understand that you don't need to be holding on to patterns within relationships that are no longer working, or relationships that simply cannot work any longer, and it's time to move on. So please understand that. You got to rip off the Band-Aid and see what happens. You're not going to know which direction to take until you actually act on it, okay? Open up the doors of conversation. So, all right, is there one more? We've got Strength in reverse, Queen of Cups in reverse, and then the Five of Pentacles upright, and then the Star. Okay. The reason that people tend to stay in past relationships is because there's a degree of comfort. We know who we are in those relationships, and we understand how to navigate the existing patterns. And it's really difficult to remove ourselves from those, especially if we feel like we're doing them independently, because you're losing your connection to this group. You had a tribe, and as soon as you create some difference or some contrast, you immediately feel separated from that tribe. And as humans, we need community, all right? So the idea of removing ourselves from a community, whether it's a safe community or not, feels like a death. It feels like a death sentence, because we feel like we can't survive alone, right? We're gonna be experiencing isolation and loneliness and scarcity and no safety net, right? These are all the fears that occur. We don't feel strong enough to take the leap. And it's important to Queen of Cups energy here. It's really important with her in reverse that you remember to hold the space for those emotions. You're not trying to gloss over anything. You're not trying, by ripping the Band-Aid off, we're not saying this is going to be a momentary pain and then it's gone, or this is easy, cakewalk, no problem. This is a challenge. If it wasn't a challenge, people would be jumping from one group to another their whole lives and never think twice about it. But we don't do that, right? We hold on to, even when they're toxic, we hold on to toxic friendships, toxic family relationships, toxic romantic partnerships, toxic business relationships. Why? Because the unknown is terrifying, and we feel like if we rip ourselves away from those or stand up for our unique identity and beliefs, we're going to be shunned and isolated and ostracized. And there's nothing worse for a person than those experiences right there. So yes, it's terrifying. And in some situations, it's going to hurt. It's going to be very difficult and painful. It's not going to last forever, and it's a growing pain. It's a pain that is required in some situations in order to make changes for the better, to grow, to lean on that rebirth and emergence, leaning on the ancient healing wisdom and evolving for our future generations. It's a legacy. It's a legacy. If on a very simple notion, let's just pretend that some of you may have children or may plan on one day having children. If you raise those children up in the same toxic, stagnant, broken relationships and environments and communities that you're attached to, what's going to happen to your kids? You expect them to break free from that when they are old enough to make choices? They're not going to be able to. So by doing it now, you are creating a legacy. You are the seed person. You are the one who's breaking the generational curses. And there's so much of that in here. So get that karmic balanced, that karmic balance rebalanced. It's time. And now, like, strike while the iron is hot. Like, let's do it, because you're going to have exponential results. So, okay, it's ending with the star. This is all about timing. This is our place in the world right now in the grand scheme of things. And all of the action here, what we're being asked to do this week, starting this week, is what is needed to bring healing to ourselves, our ancestors, our future generations, our communities, and the whole earth, okay, is relying on us to continue evolving and growing and knowing better, doing better, knowing better, doing better, right? That's what we're being asked to do. So I'm going to do my best. I'll probably reach out to a couple of people this week myself and see if I can get some closure or some clarity with some past relationships that have always been important to me and are kind of in a weird place right now. And I'll let you know how that goes, all right? I probably won't give you the details of the nitty-gritty, but I'll let you know how it goes, because we're in this together. So thank you for joining me today. This has been Enfys Tarot, Earth Magic Monday. I hope that you guys are feeling energized and revitalized from this and ready to hit the ground running. If you enjoyed this content, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing with your friends. If you do have some friends out there or some family members that you are feeling need to have these conversations, sending a copy of this recording over to them, or, you know, sharing. I'm saying that because, God, I'm old, so it used to be sharing a copy of a recording, right? Send them the link to this video, and maybe that can be your opening. Maybe that can be your doorway to having this conversation. Go out and be vulnerable, okay? Be vulnerable. Enter into this with a sense of divine feminine vulnerability, and go with the core strength that you have, all right? Please share, like, subscribe, and I will be back tomorrow for True Intentions Tuesdays, okay? Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you then.